So tonight is Sunday, April 28th, 2024. I have given thought to my Dharma talk tonight, given a lot of thought to it. Because I'm doing another like mindfulness training. And I read I'm sure you all have this, heard of it, read it, been there, done that, or not. If not, it's a good one. Wherever you go, there you are. Jon Kabat-Zinn. I read that maybe like 10 years, a long time ago. And it's part of our reading. And I'm actually more listening to it on tape, which I recommend because it's a good listen. And this week, there's a segment, I don't remember what chapter, Jon Kabat-Zinn, who's like the mindfulness guru, right? He created a program to teach mindfulness in a medical setting, and he's one of the most successful mindfulness gurus, experts, who has created a whole series and system of ways to teach mindfulness, apply mindfulness, specifically around people who are ill or unwell and in the hospital, and how that contributed to their healing. So timing is perfect, right? And in this book, again, I highly recommend listening to on tape. He talks about a lot of things, but what struck me this week, I can remember it for next week. I already have next week's Dharma talk, not planned, but in my brain. But he talks about how like human beings, well, he has you visualize a mountain, right? And how human beings have been enthralled by mountains forever and ever and ever. Like historically, we draw mountains on caves, and there's literature about mountains, and there's been just this enthrall with humans with mountains. And he was talking about this qualities of a mountain: strong, sturdy, unbreakable, solid, never wavering, steady. I'm trying to think of some of the others. I mean, you can think of your own in your mind, but when you see, just grandeur, humongous, um, touching the sky, if not in the sky. So you picture this mountain, and it's like unchanging. And that's pretty spectacular. But then you can also look at a mountain and you can observe the weather on the mountain. And sometimes in the summertime, there's still snow at the peaks. There's often snow at the peaks, even in the summer, I should say. And in the spring, there's lushness with grasses. And he says you can observe a mountain in the rain and almost not see it at all because of the fog. He talks about forest fires and all like the weather that happens on a mountain. And he uses analogy and says that our essence of who we are is like a mountain: solid, strong, steady, unwavering, consistent, strong, unbreakable. And yet we have all these things in life that happen to us, which is more like the weather. And so we really need to remember that we're both, and we're strong and steady and unbreakable and powerful and amazing and connected to the heavens, but grounded deeply to the earth. But we also have life and all these changing seasons and patterns and all this stuff that changes the appearance of the mountain, but nothing actually really changes the mountain. And it certainly doesn't do it quickly. So a storm can blow through, and that can seem to change the mountain, but that's only like the outside of the mountain. And I just thought that was just a really great visual, an analogy, and a metaphor, and a truth of really kind of how we can look at ourselves as these strong, consistent, dependable, reliable, unbreakable beings that has a lot of weather patterns happening. And those weather patterns are going to blow through, and some stay longer, but eventually it changes, and we can look at ourselves as both or one or the other. And I know that's been giving me a lot of anchoring. It's been very anchoring for me this week. That doesn't mean I haven't flown off sideways or let the weather bother me, because I certainly let the weather of my own mind bother me. But deep underneath, if we can remember to come back to that strong, steady, mountainous self, that's what's important. So I couldn't wait to share that with all of you this week, actually. And again, the book is Wherever You Go, There You Are. I think it's a really great book to listen on tape. His voice is very soothing. So if you have like long commutes, or if you're in the car a lot, or you have time to listen to it, I highly recommend listening to it, because it's really, I don't know, it's powerful. And he's very deep, but very real world, ordinary person reachable, which is what I always look for. There's nothing overly heady about his stuff. So tonight, we'll see how that emerges and brings out and works through us on the external, or as we go inward. We'll see what that does for our meditation tonight. So on that note, you can all get yourselves ready in your meditation position. Mike, it is so good to see you, and we'll chat at the end. I saw you joining in a little bit after I started, but when I saw that you signed up, I was so excited. So we will connect and chat at the end, Mike, but it's like a little present for me today to see you here. And welcome back. So go ahead, and before you even close your eyes, I just want you to, like, again, land in this moment. Get yourself here. Let yourself be really proud of yourselves for getting yourself to this practice every week. And if you haven't been here in a few weeks, you're back right now. If you haven't been here in a while, you're back right now. So really just bring in this gentle, I feel proud of you. So I don't know what you would want to use that word for yourselves, but like proud of yourselves, or relieved with yourself for getting yourself here. Whatever's coming up for you, just let yourself give yourself the recognition for showing up, because that's the hardest part. Making the time, getting everything done beforehand, arriving here, setting up your space, all the things. So really just, that's not small. So we don't want to skip by that. And then when you feel sort of integrated or recognizing that for tonight, you can go ahead and close your eyes. And then when you close your eyes, let your focus turn inward. Turn inward to the body, not so much to the mind, although the mind is always engaged. And as you're turning inward to the body, just notice the sensations in your body. Maybe you notice any dialogue that you're having about your body. And then bring in your awareness to your breath. And to sound silly, but the breath is your friend who will ground you into this moment. The breath is your true, loyal companion, if not the truest and most loyal companion you've ever had. And let your breath remind you that you're here. Bring your attention to how it feels to breathe without judgment. Just notice sensation. There's no right or wrong way to breathe. Notice the rise and fall of your chest or abdomen or both with every breath. Notice truly how effortless breathing is, even when we're thinking about it and focusing on it. The body never wavers on your breath. Now, with every exhale, allow the body to be attentive to any parts of you that you can relax. Maybe your shoulders drop away from your ears. Maybe your cheeks or jaw relaxes. Maybe your temples and forehead just sort of melt and relax. And let your tongue fall heavy or still in your mouth. And often when we focus on the tongue, our cheeks and jaw give in just a little more. Relax your abdomen. And just bring your attention to the parts of your body that are just giving way ever so slightly. Releasing, relaxing, sinking in. And if there's any parts of your body that are still tense, you can let them be that way. We'll let them naturally release in their own time. And note anything in the mind releasing, giving way. Any thoughts that you just don't feel like having in this moment, imagine them just sort of popping like bubbles out of your head. If there's any thoughts, sensations, worries, or concerns the mind still wants to pull up for you, we're going to allow them. We're just going to ask for those sort of thoughts to just find their way to the back of your head, to the side of your head, for them to go in their own sort of corner. They can stay. They can't sit in center stage right now. They don't need to. And then I want you to visualize your brain sitting right in your skull just as you are. Really try to imagine and visualize this brain that's sitting in this gentle fluid. It's this brilliant mass of cells and neurons. Just imagine that that brain is like a city or a network. And we're just going to imagine that we are dimming the lights of the city, just quieting the network. It does not need to work so hard right now. Just imagine your brain itself just sort of powering down, not shutting off by any means. If you had a dimmer switch of your brain, go ahead and dim it as far as is what is reasonable for you in this moment. Then imagine you can feel, and maybe you can actually feel it, or just imagine that you feel the network in the brain as it dims. It shuts down the parts of your nervous system that are on high alert, that are on go mode, that are overthinking. And just begin to sit in your body just as it is, needing to not fix anything. And imagine that your body and mind are like a quiet, still nursery of a brand new baby. And we can step in to visit and watch the baby sleep. Let's just walk softly in the nursery of yourself. We can peek in and observe the sleeping baby and keep everything calm, quiet, gentle, loving, and curious. Let your body be lulled into a calming sense. If there's anything irritating the calm nursery, you can note it. You can allow it. You don't have to fight against it. Just keep bringing your attention back to the center brain. Dim the lights. Bring your attention back to your breath and slow down. Anytime thoughts arise or take you out of the quiet, calm nursery, just gently bring yourself right back. Bring your attention to your breath. Notice the quality of your breath. And if it's different from when you first started or not. And imagine empowering down or dimming the nervous system. The irony is that the body begins to fill with authentic energy, light. To begin to imagine that the ground beneath you, and quite literally the earth beneath you, whether you're on the second floor or the 10th floor of a building, right on the first floor, no matter where you are in your room, there is earth below you. And just draw your mind and attention to the earth below you. And imagine that deep in the earth, there's sort of a hole or a tunnel that's opening up and it's emitting almost like a rainbow or mist of energy up through the earth. And it's going directly underneath you and around you. Imagine this sort of rainbow mist. It's so fine that you can breathe in this mist and receive the different vibrations of each color. Maybe you see the full rainbow spectrum. Maybe you see just a few. Maybe you're envisioning only white. Let yourself just be in the moment. Imagine you're breathing in this mystical rainbow light. Imagine the teeny bits of colorful light get breathed in and go right into your lungs, creating an opening and a clearing. Begin to imagine that your lungs are illuminating and vibrating gently. Maybe they're glowing. And imagine as the lungs take in this mystical rainbow light, the energy gets transferred from the lungs to the heart. And imagine this light is getting pumped through your heart, going right through all your blood vessels, deep into tissues and muscles and tendons, bones. The earth below you continues to emit a steady stream of this mystical mist, light, life force. Breathe it in. Let your body exchange this mystical light for anything that simply does not belong in your body in this moment. Imagine your body is sharing this light systemically through every organ, every cell of your body. If there's any parts of you that give you pain or discomfort or dis-ease. Notice what color light is attracted to those places. And just observe. You don't have to make anything happen. Maybe you see it, maybe you don't. Send that light or observe that light pushing out of every pore of your skin, treating every layer of your skin, cleaning and clearing out anything that is not optimal for your body. You don't have to force anything, but just imagine this light like a glow oozing out the pores, cleaning it up, clearing it out. Imagine the light moving through your nail beds of your fingers and your toes. Opening up the fingers and the toes to radiate beams of light from each digit. Imagine your teeth taking in this light, your gums, your jaw, your lips, your teeth, your tongue. Imagine the light filling your entire mouth. You open your mouth so it can be emitted shining light out of your mouth. Breathing the light in through your nostrils, feeling it as it passes through your nostrils. Imagine the light pushing out your eyes, correcting any vision issues. Mother Earth constantly pumping up this fresh energy, specific for you and your DNA in this moment in time. Bring it to your thyroid, bring it to your stomach, your colon, your intestines, pancreas, spleen, gallbladder, appendix, bladder, urethra, spinal column, pancreas, liver, kidneys. And to imagine your entire system is vibrating. Visualize it as almost like a machine, an organic machine or an organic being with light energy pumping through you. There's nothing you have to do. The energy knows where to go. You can get curious about certain parts of your body. Check in, see what they're like. Notice what colors are vibrating, if any. Check in on any organs or parts that I may not have mentioned. And as the mist goes in through your breath, it's also building up around your body. Imagine you're sitting in this bubble of rainbow mystical light. That mystical light is removing anything that you place in front of you, mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually, that blocks your light. And it removes anything that blocks you from receiving. Just let the mist almost chew up and eat, absorb, digest anything outside your energy field that prevents you from giving and authentically receiving to and from yourself. Let the rainbow light do the work as you just breathe. Imagine that mist coming from deep in the earth, moving up into your body and around your body, creates that bubble or egg-like energy field around you. Try to imagine it 3 feet, 4 feet beyond your body, or larger if that's natural for you. And then imagine the light energy coming up from the earth, surrounding you, moving in you, is also becoming a pillar or beam of light that moves through you. And it pushes out of the top of your head and goes up through the ceiling of your home and connects you to universal light energy. You are sort of a portal or a pillar of light energy connecting the heaven and the earth. And imagine you can feel the flow of energy from the earth moving up all the way to the universal life force energy. And then imagine it finding a space high above the universe and universes. And it cascades down and engulfs the entire universe. And somehow comes around and back up underneath you through the earth. Like you're a fountain. The energy moves through you, moves through the universe, circles the universe and comes back. Imagine that universal energy effortlessly moving through you, up, around, back through you. Imagine yourself being bigger than just the human that you think you are. That your beingness is to be the pillar of light. And as you're the pillar, the energy moving through you, up and around and back through. You can decide to stay just observing that exchange of energy. You can gently and curiously see if there's any thoughts that pop up. Maybe thoughts or beliefs, conditioned responses that you're aware of that you do or say or think or believe that don't need to be a part of your experience anymore. Maybe they're just no longer helpful. Maybe there's one, maybe there's several. Don't think about them. Just let them flow to the top of your mind if they are to be looked at right now. If nothing comes, then there's nothing to look at right now. Don't try, don't force. Just breathe and allow. The energy is flowing. The rainbow of light is moving through you. cleaning, cleansing, upgrading, vibrating, removing, releasing, integrating. It's doing all the things. Nothing you have to do to make any of that happen. Your mind gets impatient with stillness or silence. Just notice it. And take a deeper or slower breath in those moments. Remember the energy moving through you. At any point your mind wanders too much, again, just bring it back to your breath, back to the earth, bringing up that mystical light, moving through your body, sending it upward, removing any barriers from receiving love and abundance, well-being, as well as removing any obstacles that prevent you from being you. You don't even have to identify what those things are. And then send the energy right out through the top of your head to the universe. And watch it come up and cascade back down around to the earth. And let the cycle start over again. Let it all pump through you. Gently become aware of yourself and your chair, your seat. Recognizing that that process is a constant process that's happening whether we're aware of it or not. Energy from the earth is moving through us, around us, using us as the pillar of light. Go into the universal universe. So hold on to that awareness, but begin to gently bring your attention back to your human, smaller self. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes and bring gentle movement to your body whenever you're ready. Occupy your body in the space that you're in right now. Not opening your eyes yet, but become aware visually of the room that you're in. Be aware of the wall across from you and behind you and on either side of you without opening your eyes. And just for a moment to practice that shift of perspective. With your eyes closed still, you're aware of yourself in your room and the walls around you. And then shift just back into the visual just moments ago of the earth portal energy bringing up that rainbow mystical light into you, through you, surrounding you in the bubble and sending it all out through the top of your head into the universe. Hold that thought. And then again, eyes still closed, but shift into the awareness of the walls around you, the chair, floor, bed that you're sitting on. The body that you're occupying. And then again, go back to the other visual. The earth, the energy moving through you, fountain, both perspectives, both realities of you exist at the same time. It truly only differs with what we're deciding to place our attention and focus. Both are happening and much more. When you're ready, and only when you are ready, you can gently bring your eyes open and turn on your lights, your cameras if you wish. And as we're all kind of coming back to focus and awareness of each other, give me a show of a thumb with a thumbs up, thumbs middle, thumbs down, how that meditation was for you tonight. Let's see, up, 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 middle, middle, up, middle, up, up. Not sure, up. Oh my God, Kathy, look at you have a thumbs down, but did you see that thing? Yeah. Bonnie, up, up, middle, down, up. Ken, I can't see. Sharon, I can't see. Eileen, I can't see. And Laura, I can't see. So, all right. Kathy, you have the settings. You have the cool settings. As a reminder, you can log off at any time. I always think this is an important part of our process. I want to change things up just a little bit tonight. And how I want to change things up a little is that instead of sharing what happened or didn't happen in your meditation, I want you to sort of, now that we're here together, just having had an experience of some sort. That could have been deeply relaxing, that could have been super irritating, anywhere in between. You had an experience. And I want you to sort of reflect on what is something you can take away or extract or gain or get out of that experience for you tonight. Doesn't mean it's going to change your life. Maybe it could, but we don't need to go so big. So instead of talking about the specifics of what happened in the meditation, reflect on it, feel it, and then what can you in this moment kind of gain from it, share from it? And again, it doesn't even have to be positive. It doesn't have to be, life affirming. It might be, but we're not looking for the right answers. We're looking for the truth with what's coming up from yourselves. And the only kind of exception, if that's the right word, is if you had an experience that occurred in it that is puzzling to you, then that might be something that you want to share. But I want to get a little bit more deeper into a bigger picture tonight. Does that make sense for everyone? So how many of you, well, I mean, maybe take a second, 20 seconds, just to reflect. What can you gain from that? Or what insight or what awareness? Maybe what quote, maybe what line came to you? And I'll share just quickly. I had many things, but one thing that kept coming up to me is one of my favorite lines in a movie, Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. At the very end, he says, "Life is an occasion, rise to it." That kept coming up. So, that's what I would say I gained from tonight in my experience. Many other things happened too, but that was something. So I'm just giving an example to all of you of maybe it was like, oh my God, my dog wouldn't stop barking. And I realized how aggravating it is when my dog is barking, or, whatever it is. So does anyone want to share? Yeah, Kathy, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. I think something, and it was more towards the end because I did lose a connection at one point,
Yes.
which was irritating because it's very difficult for me to fall into this. And I was really into it. And I didn't realize how into it I was until the connection broke.
Yep.
But the takeaway, I suppose, tonight, among a couple of other things, but was more towards the end because it's easier to remember the end, is our duality in our lives.
Mm.
We're two things at one time. We're ourselves. We're doing what we're doing. We're living our lives. but also our connection with the rest of the universe. And I'm trying to, just in my own life, be more positive and think and look at things more positively. And they always say, oh, put out positive vibes, put out positive vibes, you know.
Yep.
And it's kind of a cliche, you know, like people say, oh, I'm sending positive vibes. But in that thought of our duality, it just kind of clicked there. You know what? Yeah, it really is. We really are two things at one time.
Yeah, I love that.
So anyway, that was my takeaway,
That's
among other
huge.
things.
That's a huge one. And thank you for saying it, because then now there's that aspect to add to our own, like, oh yeah, huh, interesting. Yeah, the duality piece is mind-blowing because we don't think we're both the mountain and the weather.
At times, yeah.
Yep. We're both of spirit and of matter. We're both, we can be very happy and grateful and super sad and devastated at the same time. I mean, duality, it's all of it. So yeah, thank you for even sharing that word.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah, Ken, go ahead.
I knocked my mouse on the floor before and it broke into 3 pieces all over the place. And all I could hear is, Ken, get up, Ken. And then finally got all the pieces together and it worked. Also, just real quick, wanted to tell you, last week, the driver of my bus was my first mediumship mentor.
Oh, cool.
Driver of my bus. He got off the bus, he smiled, and he was driving my bus. It was kind of funny, actually, because I don't even know why he was there. I wasn't thinking about him, but he was there.
And he was there.
The 2 things that I got out of two things I guess out of tonight is, one, you have to get rid of all the negative stuff, wherever it is, whether it's in your heart, just your energy, your head. You have to get rid of the negative stuff, because if you don't, you take it with you wherever you go. Whether you go meditate and go into the spirit world, or wherever you go, you take it with you. And you have to work every day, every moment, on getting rid of everything that doesn't serve you and everything that's negative, and learn how to recognize it.
Yeah, that's the wherever you go, there you are book.
Learn how to recognize what it is, because you may not even realize it, but it's negative stuff. Forget about the past. Forget about the things that have happened that might have been bad, because they're over. They're gone. They're done. Get rid of all that stuff and just take your good energy and your good stuff and all the stuff you need and move forward, and take that into the world and into spirit with you. And that was my general of everything. That was my.
And how do you, so that's what you needed to that's what you needed to hear, feel, see, experience.
Yeah. That's my big lesson I need to learn all the time. Be grateful for the good stuff, get rid of the bad stuff. And you have to work on it all the time, because the bad stuff comes back. And the more you work on it, the more you get rid of it, the more you become accustomed to not having it there. That's my take on it.
And how do you feel tonight?
Good. I'm going through some changes myself, because I'm finally putting a lot of stuff behind me and starting to move into that new direction I'm supposed to go. But I can't totally do it unless I get through all that bad stuff that I've been carrying around with me for a couple years, couple months, couple days. I've got to get rid of all of it and then move forward. It holds me back.
And do you have and this isn't even like to be answered per se, but do you have a sense of what helps to remove, release, or maybe even reduce that?
Meditation, number 1. And number 2, to ask your guides to help you to move forward to where you're supposed to be and not on that spot that you're being held back to.
So perfect. That's your path. That's your path this week. Or this, not even this, maybe the rest of this night. We don't have to say the whole week, but that's your path this week. Okay, meditate, or this night, meditate and ask my guides to help remove, release, loose.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
Thank you.
I think you begin to notice what it is too and become more aware of it.
Yeah, we do. We notice, and we're really funny creatures. Our brains are really funny. I mean, they're not funny at all, but they're pretty wild organs, our brains. So it's the observation, the awareness, and the repetition, coming back to center, coming back to center, coming back to center, coming back to surrender, coming back to acceptance, all the things, all the words. It's,
Stop thinking too.
oh God, yeah.
Stop thinking too, because thinking can be the worst of everything. Don't listen to what your mind has to say.
Right.
Shut it off.
Yep.
Easier said than done, but that's bad for me too. I have to just stop the mind. I
Yep.
believe everything I tell myself.
Meditation and the guides are a good like direct path, or direct, not exercise, but concrete. Those are two concrete, like, these are things that I can do today. And then maybe you add some, maybe you take some away. So good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Laura, are you raising, go ahead. I think you're raising your hand.
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to think of how to communicate this, so it might get a little confusing. So I think normally I kind of separate physical from the more mental aspect of meditation. And I know we always go through a physical first, relaxing everything and breathing, to then kind of go up and away. Tonight I was very much not ready to go up, and I was very much in the physical, but I realized that I needed to be there because I had so much. My shoulders and my neck, it was painful, and so I was frustrated because I wanted to kind of take off into the pretty light world, and I just stayed in the physical, but I really worked through, like, my body isn't sore anymore. Um, and so I'm realizing, oh, well, I know this, but it's all the same. It's all interconnected. And to maybe not be so set up on, I don't know, definitions of what's supposed to happen versus what I'm
Yep.
doing at the moment. Because I really was frustrated. At one point, I was doing a lot of stretching. It felt more like a kind of a yoga class to me than it was a meditation, but that's clearly what I needed to do. But
Oh,
in the moment, I was frustrated. So it was interesting just to kind of be aware of that.
I love that. That's juicy. Like, because that's it. That's like the practice where you're like, we become aware. And sometimes we're frustrated with the mind because the mind won't do something. And here it's more of like, oh my God, I'm not ready to do, like, you really became aware of yourself in that moment. And aware, it sounds like to me that you became aware of where you were at, even though you were frustrated with where you at, when you stuck with it, you were able to see it through.
Right. Yeah.
That's huge.
And then by the
that
end, I
is-
really liked the jumping between the two. Was able to finally get there. And so it was really cool to go between the two. I love
Mhm.
that exercise that you had us do.
The like being aware of your room and then going back to the
Yeah.
meditation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Because
Okay.
by the end, I was finally able to to be up there. So I bouncing between them. It all worked out.
Good. It all worked out in the end because you worked through.
Right.
Like that's a juicy observation. Do you know, like I stuck with it. I stuck with it and I was frustrated, but I stuck with it. And you really you paid attention to what was, like, what is.
You just flashed me back to having COVID in Costa Rica. But yes.
Right. Ooh, right. Yes. It's like, This
All
is
right. I already learned this lesson. I had to remember it though.
right. Yeah. It's that repetition. That's that repetition that, oh my God, I thought I got this the first 9,000 times. The universe sent me this message. And it's like, oh, there it is again. Oh, how do we weather this storm? So I like that meditation. I like that process. I really like to hear, well, I don't like to hear when we're having a hard time with something, of course, but I do like to hear like just what you said, like I was really frustrated. Like it's really good to be frustrated in meditation. Why do I say that? Because that's real. That's life. That's what's going to happen. Meditation is not easy, actually. And it's just a reflection of what's going on in our life. And it's that moment we're sitting and kind of observing all of it. So that's what I mean when I like to hear, like, oh, this was really tough for me. I like to hear that. I don't want things to be tough for people, but I like to hear that because then it's like, oh yeah, well, so is life, right? Like life is really tough for us sometimes. Does that make sense? You guys get me. I don't have to explain it. Yeah. You guys know me by now. But it's good. We're not looking to achieve bliss every time we sit in meditation. I mean, yes, we are mentally somewhere in our brain. It's looking for peace, checking out, bliss, security, levitation, whatever it is we're looking for. But that's not really it. Because if it really was it, so many of us have had a time and experience where it's not pleasant. I couldn't focus, or the connection got lost, or this one I didn't really like, but we keep coming back. So we're obviously not really looking for bliss. We're looking for the experience itself, which is pretty cool if you really think about it. Either that or we're all just nuts for constantly coming back.
A little both, maybe.
A little bit of both. There's the duality again, thanks to Kathy. We're a little bit crazy. Anyone else? Or who else? Not anyone else. Who else would like to share? I actually feel like 6 of you. That's a lot. So I feel like 6 of you are like, oh, I want to, but I don't know if I will. So yeah, go ahead, Mike. And then Joan, you're next.
While everyone's talking, I'm just thinking of the word like allowing. I feel like it should be Deborah Hanlon, the allowing center, or, because like, I don't know, everything we go through driving for me is a big trigger, and like, let them be crazy. Like, crazy is going to stay in the world. And the person at the grocery store, the just all the nuts, craziness, Facebook posts and news and frickin' yada yada yada. I'm like, oh, just allow it. Like, we think we have to influence people and change them, when it's like, that's not how it works. Y'all change with y'all in y'all self. Allow.
Y'all, exactly.
Preach.
Preach. I just wrote that down. I love what you said. Crazy is going to stay in this world. Exactly. Exactly. Oh my God. Keep talking, Mike. That's fantastic. Let them.
That might, I think that's what I got for tonight.
Love it.
I like the mountains, but I don't know if it was like a subconscious connection, but like I made kind of a perfectly mic shaped little hills of earth, and then I always go to Avatar with like you remember when Sigourney Weaver was dying, and the stuff comes out and like just covers her, and she's just getting that energy. I felt like that helps me ground.
Love that visual.
Having that visual.
You brought it. You're back in on the team of the tribe, and you brought it tonight, my friend. Let them. Crazy is going to stay in this world. Like, yeah, let it and allow it. I mean, that really, 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 really is like, it really is it. It really is it. I know there'll be lots of arguments against that principle, but we're at a different level of allowingness. We're not talking about allowing bad behavior. We're just talking let it be, let it flow. Allow the slow driver in the left lane. Allow the person who cuts you in line. Allow whatever. So thank you for that, Mike. That's huge. That's resonating a lot for me. Allow the motherfuckers. No, just kidding. Peace, love, spiritual. Sending you love and light. As people are doing the same to me, like that idiot, that woman, this one. We also forget that we too are the idiots. Do you know what I mean? Because most people, nobody wants to talk about that. Actually, Greg and I talked about that a lot tonight. But most people, like, we're not aware of when we're the jerk a lot of the times, which then we have to realize how many times are people a jerk and they don't know it, which means they're not trying to be it. So there's always that too. Like, we're not all perfect. I know that's shocking. I know. But I have a hard time with that myself. However, apparently it's true. Not perfect. We're not perfect love and lighters. Who knew? I don't know. It's weird. So thank you for that, Mike. And Joan?
I have nothing now after Michael.
I was going to say, that's
Oh,
a really
wow.
good act of power.
Jeez, Mike. How are you? I catch myself when stupid people cut me off, only when I'm driving. It's weird, probably because I'm in the car a lot.
Mhm.
And then I call them an asshole or I flip them or something. And then I go, okay, I'm sorry. I do that too sometimes. So I hear what you're saying. I'm not exactly sure what I got out of this. There were a lot of rocks with writing, and I couldn't quite catch all the words. There was something with writing that's been happening a few times lately. I don't know why, but I remember I was very calm, and I could see the rainbow flowing through me and around me. But the rocks, the words that I did catch were life, still, living, and joy. So I'm not exactly sure, although I am planning a reunion from people from
Right,
my
right.
music days, the very first music,
Yeah.
because there were two, the company was bought out. So we're planning a get together next month. And we just got together, and I am planning to get together with some of my friends who I think the living might be what's jumping out at me. So maybe my goo is going away. I don't know. But anyway.
So, well, pause for a moment with all of that. What if you did know what you got out of tonight?
What do you mean? What if I did know?
When you said you're not sure what you got out of that, I'm gonna challenge you. I think you did. I think you do.
I think it's the whole move on, get living, get going. I do. I think it's that.
Yeah, you think
Too much shit going on lately, so yeah.
so let's like pretend you didn't speak at all yet, and we say like, okay, what did you get out of tonight? What would that be?
Get your ass out. Frankly, that's what it is. Go do, go be, and bring it.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. But at the end, I really wasn't quite ready to come back, but I did. And I didn't want to open my eyes. So when you went with that back and forth thing, I like slipped back into that rainbow really easily, very, very easily. And today, I hung. Actually, I was purging my stuff still, my third time I've purged it since I came back and took everything out of storage from the Carolinas. And I found two like picture type things, but with writing on it, a saying. And one of them is laughter and music. Laughter is the music of the heart. I love that. So maybe that whole living life joy could be part of that.
Yeah, you could take away the,
But
you could take away the word maybe.
that's my trust issue, Deborah.
You trust yourself though.
I do. I do.
So keep going to the mountain. Go to
Yeah.
the trust. Go to that solid
Well,
space.
clearly I'm walking on the rocks. I'm not quite on the mountain yet. Or maybe
Well-
I just came off the mountain. That's probably it.
Well, going back to what Kathy said, we are the mountain, we're the duality, we're the mountain
Yeah,
and we're the
true.
weather, we're the unchanging and the changing, we're the infinite and the temporary. You know, we really quite literally are both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it is good to see you, Michael.
it really is. It really, really, really is, Michael's great timing.
You too, Joan. Always and forever.
Forever. Forever? Forever, ever? Yeah, I knew you'd get that. Like, who else was raising their hand? And also now let's add in the question of what did you gain from your meditation? But maybe since we started speaking and others are sharing their perspective, maybe there's something jumping out at you now. So maybe it had nothing to do with your meditation, but because somebody else said something was sparked in you. So where are my peeps for that? I feel like I could literally call on any one of you, and any one of you will have something juicy. Why is the word juicy coming up to me tonight? No idea, because it's really not a word I use very often, which is making me kind of laugh, but everything feels juicy. Bueller. Yeah, Linda, thank you, my friend.
I don't think I have anything juicy, so to say, but I did also love the duality piece. I loved when you said about the mountain and with Mike's allow, because I often have a difficult time hearing. So I was prepped with my headphones, and when I put them on, I still couldn't hear. So I don't know if they have to be charged or whatever, but instead of staying in the aggravation of, oh, I can't hear, I don't know what's going on, I just stayed in a meditative state and I just allowed the process to happen. And I did have some rainbow because I heard that part. And I also liked the going back and forth before we came back in, because I too did not want to open my eyes. So that was really helpful to just switch back and forth to allow myself to be ready to come back in. Yeah. So just not fighting the process, I guess, going with the weather.
Love it. Yeah. And I just quick question. Could you not hear because of your headphones, or was I not close enough?
No, I think you're fine. It's just this, I think that this is not loud enough. Plus I set myself up tonight because I have the fan. It was a little warm, so I had to have the fan. And so instead of getting up and shutting the fan off, which would probably have helped, but I just thought, oh, I'll put the headphones on. It's not a big deal. And I think they might need to be charged, maybe. I don't know. It hasn't been an issue before, but
Okay, if anyone can't hear, like, please let me know too, because then maybe I'll do this. I don't know. Does that sound different? I'll speak right into the microphone. Does that sound different when I do that?
It sounds a little creepy.
Sounds juicy.
That was
I
creepy.
just, who said that, David? I was just thinking the same thing. That sounds like Jason.
That's terrifying. We're gonna pull ourselves right out of Zen state. Yes, ASMR. Oh my God, I love ASMR. So addicting. Except when it's like people opening up packages, like crinkling packages. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're gonna send me into a mental institution. But anyway, I digress. So thank you, Linda. Going with allowing, good words, the duality, going back and forth. Who else? Anyone else? We still have time. That meditation, by the way, was 48 for 9, 50, 51. Shit, wait, 30, 40, 43 minutes long. So I don't know, that does that feel long to you? Because I didn't think it was that long, but my alarm went off at 8:38, which is always a 30-minute alarm. And then we ended at 8:51. So yeah, 43 minutes long.
Some of the spacing, just could be pauses of maybe 30, 45 seconds to a minute, which makes it feel a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
Me, it's hard because my mind wants to go out and go to other places during that time and then come back and go out. That's what might make it seem a little longer because some of the pauses in between,
Yep.
the sit and think pauses are long.
Yep. Yeah, how many of you like the longer pauses? Like I know Joan, you like the longer pauses. I personally prefer the longer pauses. How many of you don't like the longer pauses? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's hard. I feel like that's well, not I feel, it's known that that is the practice in and of itself. So that's that morning, our 6 a.m. morning meditations. Those are really great practice for long silence because we're in silence a good 18 to 19 minutes. So it's a decent amount of time. John Cabot, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what's really funny is tonight, Ken said the pauses, but it didn't feel like I had any pauses in there. I felt like I was just in the rainbows and the rocks, in the rainbows and the rocks.
Interesting.
Yeah. I didn't think you paused at all.
Interesting. I was a bit mindful of not like Goldilocks, like not too long, not too short, like because of the 1-2 weeks ago where I was quiet for a really long time. Like that one, because even during that one was like, oh my God, you got to talk. Like you got to start talking. And I couldn't. I was like, no. And I'm like, oh my God, start talking. So now I'm a little bit like, they're going to think you logged off. They're going to open their eyes. They're going to think their computer went down. Like, so my brain was a little bit trying to be Goldilocks there. What was it? What were you saying before that? I don't know. Wasn't
You were
important.
going to say something about John Kabat-Zinn,
Oh,
like about the pauses or the
yeah.
silence.
Thank you. So his, from what I understand, his training, it's called MBSR, Mindfulness Based Stress Reduction Training. Yeah, MBSR. They teach 45 minutes of silence. Like that number is the important number. I didn't learn too much yet about why is it that number, but that particular training, but that is also for people who are ill or hospitalized. Like there's a whole science behind it. And he did mention something about it doesn't have to be 45 minutes to get a good meditation. It could be 2 minutes for a good meditation. but his MBSR system, program, whatever you want to call it, is 45 minutes. Does that make sense? So a good meditation can be 33 seconds. Deep breath in, deep breath out. He's not judging the amount of time you're in meditation, but for certain outcomes, specifically to deal with healing and health, is 45 minutes. That's the best way I can explain it from what I understand so far. If as I read more and learn more, I might change that and say, wait, that wasn't true. That wasn't the case. I didn't have all the information, but that's what I've learned so far. And if anyone else knows anything more about that training, please speak up and share because it's pretty cool. Something else he also says a lot is how meditation should not be talked about. And what he means is, and I was like, oh my God, I do this all the time. But then I'm like, oh, but I'm posting on social media to well, I don't advertise meditation anymore, actually. But back in the day when I said meditation Sunday night, da, da, da. But he's very much adamant about like, you don't tell people you meditate. You don't say, oh, in my meditation practice this morning, because there's some level, this is my version of his words. There's some level of the ego engaged when you're telling people about your meditation practice. And that makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know that I thought much about it either way. But I was like, oh my God, I'm so guilty of that. But then I don't know if I am. Well, I probably am, yeah. But because I used to post about it, like, join us Sunday nights. So I was like, oh my God, I'm proselytizing meditation. It's the most egoless thing. And now I'm ego. I went through that trip. And then I was like, oh, shut up, Deb. Like, you got to tell people you're having it. What are you going to do? It's fun being in this brain. It's fun. It's so fun. Linda knows what it's like to be in my brain. But I thought that was just an interesting little thing to be aware of, to maybe not necessarily share with others about your meditation practice. We could probably go deeper into that another time. This week, what do we have coming up? Not much. I'm going to send out an email. Membership chat is on the calendar for May 13th at, I believe it's 7 or 8 p.m. I have to double check that. Greg has a doctor's appointment at 7 p.m. Who has a doctor's appointment at 7 p.m. on a Monday? I don't know. I'm shocked, but I'm going with it. So I'd like to go to that with him because he won't tell the doctor all the things he needs to tell him. So, so yes, I'm being controlling and overbearing, but it's fine. So I'm going to just check on that and I will send an email either way, like, yes, it's on, or no, it's been moved to this time and date. So either way, you will get an email regarding membership chat on May 13th. It'll either be, yep, we're having it same time as scheduled, or no, and here's the new date. So that's the only heads up I think I needed to give everybody. And anyone else have?
Grief tomorrow night, or was it last week?
Last week.
Okay.
We did have it last week. I don't think, did I post it? Thanks to our friend Jane in here. No, okay. Thanks to Jane. Oh my God. I've not done this one yet before, knock on wood. Jane went to listen to last week's meditation, right? It was last week's meditation. And do you know what I posted? Somebody's freaking reading. Oh my God. When I read that, Jane, I nearly had a heart attack. Yeah. So I was like, zip pull it. So for those of you who do watch these things, and if there's any errors or issues or whatever, thank you so much for telling me. Like,
I
right,
didn't listen.
I trust you.
I knew
Yeah.
right away. I knew right away. And I was like, uh-oh, this doesn't seem right.
Oh my God, it was a Zoom. They had a group Zoom. So it was a Zoom meditation. Yeah, I nearly vomited when I saw that, thinking, oh my God, because it's also people's imaging there. So thank you. And it had just been posted. So God, you told me right away. So when you guys do let me know the errors, like that's not like, oh, I don't want to hurt her feelings. Like, no, please tell me the errors so I don't have to have a heart attack. It's a group effort here. And then I was back. I'm like, should I tell them? And I'm like, no. I think only Jane saw it. We're just gonna live and let it be. And that's it. So thank you, Jane.
You're welcome.
It's fun. All right, everyone have a wonderful week. Take with you whatever you did sort of gain from tonight. And I'll see you all next Sunday morning. Nope, we'll not see you Sunday morning. We'll not. Maybe we will. I don't know. But Sunday night, I'll see everyone. Don't forget to take yourselves off of mute to say goodnight to each other.
Good night,
Get some
everybody.
sleep, Deb.
Good night,
Yeah, I was
everyone.
gonna say,
Yeah.
be
Good
careful
night.
crying
Good
last
night.
night.
Everybody,
Everybody.
bye, Mike.
Oh,
Have a good night.
good night.
Nice.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, Mike. Good
Yeah.
to see you here. Good night, Jill.
Good night, Deborah.
Good night. Good night, Sherry.